No, the big cats are afraid of the cucumber, and that cucumber is the Washington fucking Capitals. I'm not laughing with you. Like this, at this point, you're the President's Trophy winners. You have like 100 million points. Your team is stacked up and down the roster with goal scorers everywhere. And leading into the playoffs, I feel I was the only person, not just on YouTube, but in the hockey community as a whole. You could turn on Sportsnet, you could turn on ESPN, you could turn on TSN, turn on any channel you want. Everybody was favoring the Florida Panthers as a top 1 or 2 team right there with the Colorado Avalanche. And I felt like I was taking crazy pills all year by saying this team has holes. I know they're winning, but it's the regular season. It's different than the playoffs. Their special teams has holes. Their scoring is incredible, but the size and physicality of their team and the fact that their penalty kill is mediocre at best and that their goaltending can fail from time to time means that if Florida is going to win in the playoffs, they need to score 5. And when they don't, this happens. So let's talk about this game tonight, Florida Panther fan. At the end of the day, there's a lot that may think I'm a Florida hater. I like this team top to bottom. I want to see this team succeed, but you got to give the Caps all the props in the world. You're the faster team. The Caps beat you to every puck tonight. Every single puck the Capitals beat you to. They looked so much faster. This is an aging veteran core. We talked about it going in. Caps fans were sitting there and they're taking their victory lap right now and going, hey, see, we told you we're pretty good. We got a deep roster. Look, there's a reason they lost to the Islanders and a couple other teams over the last few years. They got beat by speed. Florida just isn't moving their feet and the Capitals are. So even though they're aged, they realize that the puck moves faster than the man. Their body position is excellent. They just want it more. When I look at this game, I see Florida standing still. I see them laying down and diving, desperation plays. This isn't the Florida Panthers team that we saw last game, and this is not the Florida Panthers team that's going to win a Stanley Cup. This is a team that has totally changed their game compared to what they did in the regular season. This is a team that is collapsing around their goaltender for some reason. I just don't get it. It's not Panthers hockey, but this is definitely Capitals hockey. Samsonov ends up getting the start. Samsonov ends up getting the start. Hey, look, we'll get you back there. I don't think Samsonov's as good of a goalie as Vanacek, but this is the right call for the Capitals. We talked about it in our playoff preview that I said if you're flipping between 2 goalies in the goalie controversy, that could actually cost you a Stanley Cup. But if Samsonov can get hot enough right now, and he had a really great game, if he can get hot enough and hold the net for the rest of the way through and there's no more goalie controversy, this could be good. You just don't want to be flipping back and forth between the two. Now, these playoffs have been interesting. Normally in the playoffs, and for those of you who have watched hockey for quite some time, those of you who haven't, we'll catch you up. They're normally like 1 goal games. So it's really interesting. Florida, this isn't just your series. Every series out there, except for Calgary and Dallas right now, seems to be a scoring fest. It's actually quite surprising. Every series out there seems to have a lot of penalties being called like the regular season. So this is it's just different. It's different. I haven't seen a playoffs like this in quite some time where a team can score 4 or 5 and the next game it can come back and the other team can score 4 or 5. Usually you're contesting this right up into the third. There's lots of overtimes in round 1. We really haven't seen that at all. We've just seen dominance on one side and dominance on the other. And then when we look at the game's background and analytical stats, it isn't truly dominance. It's just one team is outscoring like crazy. And that is all that matters. But when you look at the rest, whether it's shots or directing shots towards the net, high danger chances, all of that, these games are way closer than the scores are showing. So it's not just this series, it's the playoffs this year as a whole. This is our first normal playoffs, as we want to call it, not in a bubble, not in COVID. So this is just the way hockey goes. A lot of fans like to point this out. Very hard not to pick the favorites in hockey when you're going in, especially guys like the President's Trophy winners. But there are always upset darlings like this that end up making it through round 1, 2, and all the way to the cup sometimes, thinking of the Montreal Canadiens and the Dallas Stars in the last 2 years. So this is just the way hockey goes. It's the parity in hockey. It's the parity in playoffs. It's why we watch the game. And in this game, it's quite simple. The Capitals score on the power play. The Panthers can't score on the power play. I'm not sure why. Their power play isn't bad. The Capitals want it more. They want the pucks more. And Florida is throwing more body than Washington. That is not a good sign for Florida. Again, it's not because hits are bad. It's because if you're able to throw 49 hits in a game like Florida did, that's actually a very large indication that you spent a lot of time without the puck on your stick. That is not Florida's game. Florida's game is puck possession, moving the puck, one-touchers, and scoring. We saw that last game. We broke it all down. The Panthers' game is to move the puck simply north-south and rely on Aleksander Ovechkin to lead the charge, and he does with that first giant hit at the beginning of the game. That giant hit actually ends up leading to Washington running around a bit too much, and Huberdeau ends up scoring right off the bat. And I think a lot of people were thinking at that point, yeah, here comes the 5-on-5 of the Florida Panthers. Samsonov could be in a little bit of trouble. This might be a long night, but we were all wrong. If you want to help out this channel as well too, Florida and Caps fans, as we go forward, smash me a like, smash me a thumbs up. Both are free. Comment down below. It helps greatly. If you want to communicate with me, why don't you join into our Discord chat? The link is down below. And if you want to go above and beyond, but no pressure, there is a super thanks button down there. It's a nice way to tip all the hard work I'm doing on this channel day in and day out to bring you game-breaking coverage. So any way you can help out, whether it's monetized or not, we appreciate it a lot, and we appreciate you. We also appreciate our sponsor, BetUS. Head over to there to get a 125% deposit bonus. All proceeds go to help the channel be age of majority in your state or province, Canadian or American residents. And hey, why don't you go ahead if you're a Capitals fan and start laying some of that cheddar on the Caps, because they still are getting excellent odds right now. And it looks like they've turned this series in their favor. We take a look at that first shift of the game, the grade 8. Like I said, however Ovechkin goes is how the Capitals go. They have a very good roster. I'm not saying Ovi is the whole roster. I'm saying he's the heart and soul and the leadership of the roster. So right off the bat at the beginning of the game, bang, just big, heavy Ovechkin. And look, he ends up getting his leg up there. It's really funny when people talk to me about big hits. You know, when nobody gets hurt, everybody loves the big hit. If he would have gone down or something would have happened, they would have been screaming, ah, look how cheap it is. Travesty of the game. Oh my God. He's so violent. It's just a really good hit. And these are happening all over the playoffs. So, you know, high hits, low hits, jumping, leaves their feet. It's the way the playoffs go. I love this hit by Ovi. This is Ovi 101. Great start to the game. Remember I said, though, hits leave you out of position. 10 seconds later after that hit, the Capitals are running around. All-star Jonathan Huberdeau is able to pick it up. Now he has just, this is not great gap. The gap doesn't occur because Washington has done anything wrong here. The gap occurs because Washington was looking to lay the bod early. So Florida makes them pay, and this is what Florida has to do. Samsonov comes out of the blue paint in order to challenge. You think this angle is going to be good, but he's a little too far over to the right at this point. His player lays down in order to block the puck. Doesn't matter because Huberdeau snipes it. Bobrovsky looks like he's on the case again, but I want to point out to you the speed of the Capitals on this shift. There's no goal. Bobrovsky lays out, but take a look at who wins the battle of the puck. It is a 2-versus-1 battle. Of course, Washington wins the battle. Look at big Anthony Mantha. What a monster of a man back there with Sheary. Beautiful around the ice. They win the battle to the puck. And because Florida is caught running around, take a look at who's open in front of the net. Yeah, that's another Washington Capital player. Washington won the race to the puck 3 times there. That's 3 one-on-one races to the puck. They look like they're 10 years younger and found the fountain of youth. Face-off theory time. I love face-off theory. You got Aleksander Barkov here in the middle. He's one of the better defensive forwards out there. Now, when you're in a face-off like this, and it's a 50-50 draw, meaning it goes left or right to the wall. So this is a 50-50 puck. Unfortunately, they're just unable to get a stick on it. Like, I don't like this hustle. All you have to do is look at the foot position here of the Washington Capitals player. They're in a skating stance. Florida is still in the 3-point stance. They're not moving. Their stick is down. There's no jam on their feet. The puck is already right here behind the referee. So this little step forward again, showing the quickness of the Washington Capitals wanting to hunt pucks. Flat-footed versus quick feet, and now you end up seeing a reach in. And anytime you see this, you know a guy hasn't started moving his feet. These are easy body positions to know that the player either wasn't ready or didn't get going, and now this ends up bumping the puck out back. Face-offs are so massive. Doing the little things like this on face-offs are huge. It just puts you in such a good position, whether you're on the kill or the power play, to be successful. And really, this doesn't come down to Barkov. 50-50 draws happen. It comes down to his winger. You got to pick it up, got to get some jam in those lead feet. Nothing special up here except for a little switch. Ovechkin ends up switching to the top. As he switches, we want to take a look at Oshie in front of the net. He's still, as he gets older, he gets slower, but you don't lose your hands and your brain gets better. So even though Oshie's been here for a little while, take a look at what he is able to do to pivot open and keep good positioning here. He sees Ovi picking up that puck, and Oshie just kind of glides in front. We always talk about speed, changing your speed. you're not always looking to work hard. You're looking to go at the right speed. And you can see it sure feels like every player in the NHL who's skilled can do this nowadays. I mean, they work so hard on these deflections and tips in front of the net. It was just an amazing deflection by Oshie. What ends up causing this one as well, too, is that the defending player for Florida, you do a stick press. These guys are always whacking and cross-checking. It is just an ineffective way to play hockey. You got to be looking for stick lifts, and you got to get in there and tie up bodies. You can see right there, that little clip, that little whack. What's that going to do other than put you in the box? It's going to do nothing, and it still allows Oshie to go ahead and put the puck on the net, and he gets a goal. You got to take another stride, and you got to tie the guy up. You got to get physical. You got to stick lift. Terrible defense all around there on the penalty kill by the Panthers. How about this zone entry on goal number 2? You're taking a look here at Washington. You need to be able to step up here and identify that this is a 2-on-2. You actually have help. You can see him calling out where his player needs to go. Both defensemen need to hold him at the line here. If the defensemen end up backing into the line, they're going to cause a problem. And of course, they back in past the line. Gap control is so important here. And what you're seeing right now is what we teach players all the time. As soon as you see two players backing in like this, and we talk about gap, this is gap, you want it to be 1 stick length. This is 2 stick lengths. So this is better than most gap we pick on in this channel, but they backed in way too far. And what Washington's going to do, it's a standard offensive play. You now end up following in behind your player because that allows you to use the gapped area that will be right here and exploit Florida. These are set plays. Offenses practice them all the time in normal drills. Soon as that puck's dropped, what we're going to be looking for is someone to drive the mid lane. So as soon as that puck gets dropped, you want to take 2 hard strides and drive the middle of the ice. If we watch him go wide, that's not where we're ideally looking. And our late guy here, our forward 3, we actually want to see him drive to the top of the circle. A lot of people think you want him driving into this slot here. You don't. You want to go wide to the top of the circle. That is how you set up these 3-on-3s and 3-on-2s these days. There we see the mid lane drive, and we start to see why he's going to curl in. Again, you end up with a goal here. This isn't ideal for me. I would want to see 2 more hard strides here in order to get more room here for your player that's the puck carrier. When you start gliding like this, you're not gaining enough space. But these are NHL players. They can do a lot of damage in a phone booth, as you'd say. You can see now why I would want to have him over here on the top of the circle. Look, there is a shot lane here, but you want to be able to widen the rink. When you widen the rink, you can see over here with the goalie the amount of distance he has to cover. When you force him to cover that kind of distance, it's a better opportunity for a goal. We all know this is going to go in, so you're saying, why am I being so critical? Just trying to teach you the ins and outs of the game. So even though this ends up scoring, you could have given yourself an even better chance. But I mean, puck went in the net. Ironically here, because this play is so messy, they just shovel it towards the net like a 3-on-2. This is classic third line hockey, isn't it? So they shovel it towards the net, and then here comes the unfortunate carnival that is the Florida Panthers. Look, they're kicking at pucks. They're just not being aggressive. There's no reason they shouldn't have broken this up. It's an unfortunate bounce, and what you can see here is that, remember when I said if the goalie has to go all the way across the net, it's a very hard puck to stop? They get lucky because of the bouncing puck that ends up over here where Johansson can put it in. That could have been very easily solved and manufactured with skill by the Washington Capitals had they just gone to the top of the circle. Take a look at this back check here. That's 3 hard strides. Doesn't interfere with the gloves. Washington ends up turning it over. This is what I mean about that speed. Boom, big body positioning. Now you're using your butt. Now you're using your body, and you can see the size, the little guy of the Florida Panthers. Unfortunately, Weegar just gets bullied out here. Ekblad's a big man in his own, but that body position is perfect to pick up this puck. Ekbald needs to get away from this spot. He needs to pick up his guy that's going towards the net. However, Ekbald gets caught a little bit flat-footed there. He's now trying to stay in between. And unfortunately, Florida here again, look, 2 back checkers, just both puck watching. Look where their eyes are zoomed in on. Nobody sees the fact that this puck is going back to the high Washington Capital that's just sneaking in late. Sneaky. He ends up picking it up. Open in front of the net. Ekblad's nothing but a screen at this point now. That puck ends up bouncing off of Bobrovsky. It goes wide, but what a great chance there for Washington. That You'd think at this point right now that Florida would be able to settle down. They don't. Look, the puck's in the corner. They're going to miss Van Riemsdyk coming in late. Look at Bobrovsky. That is way too far over of a push. This is body control. I know it's hard to do. I'm not a goalie, but this is what separates the elites from the not so elites. It ends up moving up to the top of the circle, and you're just sitting there going like, oh boy. So Bobrovsky has to make one full push and then another full push backwards. That is really, really tough on a goalie. No goalie is going to stop that. That's going to be like a 50% goal every single day of the week. Van Riemsdyk lets it go. Last goal we're going to talk about here is on the penalty kill. Look, you have a 3-on-2 in the corner. We always talk about this on penalty killing. I love this. This is the exact right thing for the Florida Panthers to do right now. You need to pressure 1, you need to pressure 2, and you need to get over here on the right side of the puck. You need to pressure 3. And now what you end up doing is you're boxing them into a tiny zone. That is the key. Now, Aleksander Ovechkin, as we all know in the Washington Capitals, they're going to sneak somewhere over here and try to widen the zone. That's the goal, the power play. And we talk about this on the kill all the time. You want to get aggressive and use all three of these guys, because if you can get it through everybody to the center of the ice, congratulations, you get a great shot to shoot. And they do. What's frustrating here, if you're a Florida Panther fan, is look, they end up winning the battle. You should win the battle there. Number 15, Anton Lundell is gliding in there. You can see that wasn't a hard stride from Lundell. He should be able to pick this puck up, but no, he loses a battle because he's gliding in, and he loses the battle to a guy on his stomach for all intensive purposes. And now you end up with odd numbers. So because Lundell doesn't want to skate or get aggressive, the Florida Panthers are now trapped. It was the right way to go to be aggressive. But Lundell, you're not playing like a killer. Killers always move their feet. There is never any gliding on the kill. They move it over to Ovechkin, and bang, that puck's going to go in the back of the net. So it's just wash, rinse, repeat of the Washington Capitals just all the time, all over the Big Cats, beating them to pucks. So that will take it 2-1 to Washington. We called this in 6. Look, at the end of the day, I'm starting to get worried here about the Panthers. You can take all the President's trophies, all the points, all the depth, all the goal scorers you want off the table. And Panther fan, don't get so worried about how I'm feeling on this, because I'm going to tell you, the Panthers are loaded with Canadian talent, and I'm heavily biased towards Canadian hockey players. I think we still play the best version of hockey in the world today. America will one day pass us. They always do. Too many people, but for now, the Canadian players down there add so much depth to the Florida Panthers. You got guys like Barkov that help round out that. You got guys like Lundell that help round that out. But it's guys like Huberdeau and Ekbald that end up being heart and soul dudes for this team, and nobody is skating. So I'm getting worried about Florida. I'm getting worried about them moving their feet, and I'm getting really worried about them not being able to play their game. I'm not sure what's super wrong with this roster, but hey, like the Toronto Maple Leafs, they haven't gotten through a first round in quite some time. They're too talented to not do it, but they're just not doing the little things you need to do. And now that I've seen 3 games of this, yeah, Florida, sure, they could turn it on at any point in time, but I'm wondering if the veterans have not gotten in their head. The veterans are going to be flying high. They know they found the chinks in the armor at this point. I may be starting to feel that this series is going to flip towards Washington. All right, that's everything, guys. Thanks for being here. Hey, we'll catch you in the next one today.